Hello, I will record a new part the second time for the same day. We are Thursday, the 3rd of September. Just before, some minutes before, I have recorded the lesson 29 and now I will record the lesson 28 because I think that tomorrow, Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I have so many activities that I won't be able to record a new part. So tonight I do 2 sessions instead of 1. You know I'm not bilingual, so be tolerant with my accent. I do the best as I can to share these very spiritual teachings that I love deeply. And if you want the introduction to all that, listen my video of the lesson 35 or visit the website about that, Everyoneweb, /the way of mastery. Okay. Lesson 28. You and you alone create your tomorrows. Beloved and holy friends, feel and understand my delight as I seek to look upon the world in which you abide and allow myself to receive the guidance of my Father in how I can best create communication devices that can touch as many hearts and minds as possible. Little comment in the beginning. I have the same preoccupation since many years. I understand that every teaching is very precious, and sometimes it's hard for me to do a private consultation because I know that all the energy with one person could be used for many persons. But people do more easily a donation in private than for listening a video, for example. So because I need to pay my bills, I need to do private consultations. But when I will find a way to allow money to come more and more, I will dedicate myself more to teachings for groups, almost only. And I search continuously how we can do that to help more people in the same time. With YouTube, it's fantastic to see that after some days, weeks, months, many people have seen a video. With books, e-books, put freely in my website, it's the same thing. And in the years to come, it will be to search how to communicate to others that these videos and books, free videos are there for many people, and how can it be possible to translate that? I have a friend in a Spanish country who translates some of my books in Spanish. Actually, it's very it was a big surprise for me and a great joy. Thanks, Teresa, for your work. Okay, so in your life, it's the same. If you can find a way to organize yourself, to teach to more people in the same time, you will help the planet to change more rapidly. I have communicated with another woman who teaches many very interesting to help people since many years, but she never recorded that, and she has always to repeat after some sessions. Maybe it's 12 sessions, and she come back to the first one and start again. And I coach her to help her to organize herself, to record all that. It will be precious for so many persons. So if you want to teach, if you want to share some things, try to record that in audio or in video, or to put that in a book, and after you can go to another thing, another subject. So if you can find new ways to contact more people, what you do will be useful for more and more people. There is a great advantage to living outside of the realm of the body. I need not spend time on the body. I can see that strikes some chords among you. The body is not right and the body is not wrong. The body simply is. In reality, as you have fallen under the spell of the world that you have created for no other reason than you wanted to, you have come to perceive the body in a certain way. First of all, you think it is quite solid when in fact it is not. You think that the body separates you from others, since, as your scientists well know, no two solid objects can occupy the same point of space and time. They are quite right about that. As you look out, then, through the eyes of the body, you would actually believe that you dwell within it, and therefore have a private domain that is all yours. This leads you to the great delusion that you can have private thoughts, like one who comes home after a day of work and closes the front door behind them and then rants and raves about their boss or their co-workers, thinking that the walls of the house are around them and that therefore they have something called privacy. Rest assured that this is quite a delusion. In reality, the body does not contain you. Rather, you contain the body. Mind is vast, eternal, and unlimited. Mind is what every being that you know participates in, like waves participating in the ocean. This means that anytime you think a thought about anyone, that thought is communicated to him or her. Now, it is quite true that unless they have done enough work to become sensitive to the subtle levels of creation, they will not necessarily be aware consciously that you are thinking a certain thought about them. They may only be aware that suddenly they have had a thought of you and a rather funny feeling is going through their body. They will pass it off and give it not a second thought. Likewise, if you think a loving thought, then 1,000 miles away, someone may suddenly think of you and feel good in their body and not even know why and just let it go by. Why? Because the belief system says that they must be doing that inside themselves and it has no connection to you. Just a comment. I remember the book of Anne Givaudan in French. C'est quoi donc? La pensée. It's about the thought. What was the title? And she explained because she is clear seeing that she sees the thoughts of people and that they go to embrace people, situation, places, and she sees how the quality of our thoughts will uplift people or will put them down. And people who can see energies can see that. So the quantity of love that are in each one of our thought is very, very important for ourselves first, but also for every people who will receive this field of energy. In reality, thought is the substance of all things. Thought is an impulse of pure energy. It is more subtle than anything in the physical domain. Thought travels far faster than the speed of light. In fact, light is actually a physical occurrence that emerges long after the birthing of the dream of separation. So, while a light year can seem to be quite a vast thing in your world of physics, rest assured that thought travels instantaneously. In fact, thought is immediately present everywhere. As you are a conscious mind, a body mind, abiding in the ocean of pure Christ mind, you literally receive the impression of all thought being thought anywhere. It comes into your auric field, and your auric field is really nothing more than the truth that seems to separate one wave from another, but in fact, the truth of those waves joins them one to another. Just a little comment about what I have said before in the power of every thought that we have. I want to give you the website of this woman for people who speak French, and also because she has one of her book very special in link with the Akashic records of nature on the life of Yeshua. So it's en français, de mémoire d'Esséniens. In English, I think it's Esseni Memories or a thing like this. But you will find it on her website with her new husband. So her name is Anne Givaudan, and the website is soit.fr en français. So in English it's SOIS,FR. Yeah, and it was written before with her other boyfriend, Daniel Muroy, and other things with Akashic records, the life of Yeshua, the life of Akhenaton, the life of the King Louis, the life of Francis of Assisi. I recommend all these books, wonderful books. The links will be put below the video, okay? You decide which thoughts will influence your life. All feeds of thought then, in a sense, wash up to the shoreline of your being. You elect what influences will enter into your sphere. Some of those will pass through, and some you will begin to become identified with. You will take them on as your thought. You will form an agreement with the nature of that thought. You will value that thought and therefore create experiences that flow from your agreement, your valuation. For virtually all beings born within the human sphere, one such agreement is, I am just the body and therefore I am separate from all others. That is merely an agreement, a decision to create experience. You are equally free to say within yourself, I am more than a body, my mind is vast and unlimited, and that is the deeper essence of my identity and my existence. I am in perfect communication with all forms of life at all times. I need only withdraw my attention from my perception of my body to access communication with anyone at any time. I once said in a course in miracles, you have never forgotten the body, even for a moment, and yet a moment is all it takes to realize that you are not the body. I did not mean by this that you should deny the body, but rather that you be willing to surrender your perception of what the body is, that it is not a device that separates you at all. Why is this so? You once decided to dream the impossible dream, the dream of separation. The body is the result of that thought, the attempt to create something that succeeds in separating you from the mind of God. But you have never succeeded, for in the moment that began to emerge, the Holy Spirit already translated it into something that is not a separation device, but a communication device. You failed. The Holy Spirit did not. This means that the body itself is constantly receiving input in the form of subtle energy, vibration from everything and everyone around it. You are like a giant radio station that is picking up and transmitting signals constantly. If you would like proof of this, and especially if you would like proof of how powerful thought is as it expresses vibration through the body, simply create what you call in your world dowsing rods. Take 2 pieces of metal. It could be 2 parts of a coat hanger. Bend them so that you can gently hold one end and hold them in your hands about 6 inches from your body. Then have a friend stand about 20 feet away and have them think thoughts of negativity such as, I am unworthy, I am not worthy of being loved, I have no energy, I am not worth anything. As they are doing that, walk toward them and see how close you get before your dowsing rods of metal begin to move around. Then, back up and find just the edge where their energy field is influencing the rods. Then back up about 20 or 30 feet and have them change their mind. Have them begin to think loving thoughts such as, I am one with God. Love flows through me perfectly. I am so glad to be alive. They need not say it out loud. They need not move a muscle. They need only think differently. Then again, walk toward them and see when you find the point where the rods in your hands begin to move about. You will find that their energy field is much larger with the positive thought than with the negative thought. Now, your body is like a divining rod, and so is everyone else's. Therefore, those with confidence, those who love themselves, those who are not concerned with the good opinions of the world, who just go forward in the direction of what they love, are the ones that seem to gain the greatest support in the universe. Why? Because when such a one walks into a bank to get a business loan, already knowing that this is a great idea and they are going to bring the fullness of their being to it, and that they could not possibly fail, by just walking in the door, they are bringing an energy field that influences and touches the loan officer. Those that walk in thinking, God, I wish I could get this business loan, but I just don't know. I don't have any experience in this, and they're going to look at me like I'm a jerk. Walk in with a much reduced energy field. It's very weak. The quality of vibration of the thought is emanating out and touching the energy field of the loan officer. If you were the loan officer, whom would you rather do business with? Therefore, when love leads the way, when love is the field of energy that you are abiding within, everywhere you go, you are touching the universe in a way that is much more subtle than the conscious mind. And the universe will respond to you because love responds to itself like a flower that opens to sunlight. Now, I'm not telling you anything you do not already know, but you have not stopped to consider how profoundly important it is in the nature of your own life. You know that you respond to a happy person, to a kind person, to a loving person, more than you would to a person who is being whipped. It is simple common sense. You know that you love to be around beings that talk about unlimitedness, that talk about great vision. Why? Because they are reminding you that you too are a great visionary, that unlimitedness is the natural state of the kingdom of heaven. The problem is that you have unwittingly taught yourself to live from fear, to think negative thoughts, to believe that the opinions of the world mean something. You have literally created a world in which people are negatively minded do not want to support you, and do not think you are worth anything. Yet you are the one that is projecting that belief about yourself. And you, therefore, will attract a like vibration, for like attracts like. If you, therefore, want to attract beings who will support you and love you, decide to be a being who supports and loves yourself. Decide to open your arms wide, as we spoke of in the last lesson, to receive the love, the presence, and the pleasure of God's presence. Think only loving thoughts. Learn to master forgiveness. Dare to follow your heart. Celebrate life. Do what brings you joy. Walk as one confident in the light of Christ. Dare to look out upon the world and say, my father or my mother has set the table before me, and every being and blade of grass is here to support my enjoyment of God. As you cultivate that kind of discipline, your life will change as it must, for the universe responds to the vibrational quality that you are emitting from the radio station of your own mind. Beloved friends, you are indeed loved, but when you decide as you get up in your day that you must fear the attitude of the boss, that you must safeguard the feelings of the spouse, that you must sacrifice in order to be conformed to the opinions of the world, you shrink your energy field. And the only thing that leaks out is something like the statement, I choose to live in fear. I'm not willing to be bold and big and happy. I don't want to laugh too much today because somebody might be offended. I won't tell you my truth because it might disrupt your energy field. All of that is delusion. You are free. You are here to celebrate. You are here to be outrageous. You are here to extend love, and love cannot be extended through a contracted energy field. Therefore, teach yourself to notice each fearful thought. Teach yourself to notice when your energy field is contracted and do the opposite. Choose to receive love. If you start to go through a single day and you notice that by 5 o'clock your energy field is not feeling very good, ask yourself, where have I been waiting for love to show up as a gift of something or someone else to me? Stop what you are doing and be the one who gives love to yourself, simply so that you can enjoy it. Nothing can occur that you have not called to yourself. The essence of this lesson is this: you and you alone are completely responsible for the quality of your experience of each moment. No one is doing anything to you. The world is not an unsafe place, and what you experience in life is the direct result of what flows from the inside out. For there can be no flow from the outside in except that which you receive and make your own. Is there any point then to be fearful of something? Of course not. If you are fearful, at least accept that you have decreed it to be so by saying, I choose to be fearful of being a millionaire, and therefore I will not take this opportunity and run with it. I am fearful of the opinions of others, therefore I will not give speeches in public. At least say, I choose to have the experience of being a contracted and fearful human being. At least take ownership and recognize the simple truth that as the world shows up to reflect that fear to you, it is doing so only out of loving service to you. The universe is only love, and beings will respond to you according to what you want to call into your being. That is all. Nothing else is even possible. It is quite true that you may be causing a calamity to yourself, because you as a soul are ready to discover a greater depth of love and forgiveness in yourself. Life might bring you challenges, but only because you have asked it to bring you challenges so that you can grow your capacity to maturely direct love in this world. Nothing can occur that you have not called to yourself. I could not begin to tell you how many times I have conspired to create opportunities for many, many beings to step into the fullness of their Christed consciousness with full power and glory in the shortest possible time, only to have them say, "No, no, I can't do that. That's just not who I am. I have to go do something else." And the something else is always something based on fear, something the egoic part of the mind thinks that they can be comfortable with, and something that will take them many more lifetimes to reach the same result. The Holy Spirit always knows the shortest route to God. It will, when presented to you, bring up for you your deepest fears, since it is fear that obstructs the light of truth. How to dissolve the power of fear? How then do you dissolve the power of fear? By recognizing it, by feeling it, and by owning the simple fact that fear is not your master and continuing to walk on. The ring of fear, of which I speak quite deeply in A Course in Miracles, is simply that. The ring of fear is something constructed from the inside out. In reality, all power under heaven and earth is given unto the Holy Child of God. When you are presented with an opportunity, you are not presented something in which you are asked to walk alone. If you accept the Holy Spirit's function as your own, every obstacle is removed before you reach it. Therefore, beloved friends, where in your life are you resisting the opportunities that have been presented to you? Where have you resisted and said, "Well, that's just not me. I'm not that way. I really can't do that." When in fact you are merely afraid of the world. Fear has defeated you. In the way of knowing, fear has no power. One simply abides and does, gives it back to God, and goes on. On the day when your body-mind returns to the dust of the ground, which is an old way of saying that the energy that is holding the subtle forms of matter, your molecules and atoms together to create an appearance of something solid, when that energy of intention and will is gone, the mind is shifted somewhere else and the body dissolves. Yet you will remain as you have always been, pure intelligence, pure potentiality, pure perception. You will still be creating, and you will merely generate energy fields that will create experiences in worlds around you. You abide now in the perfect opportunity to walk through your rings of fear. Therefore, look well. Where do you feel a contraction, a fear, and a hesitancy? Is it in something that needs to be said to a friend? The more transparent you become, the more you merely speak when you feel moved to speak, do when you feel moved to do, go where you feel moved to go, laugh as you feel moved to laugh, and cry as you feel moved to cry. The less resistance you have to the flow and movement of life emanating from your own heart and soul, the more you recognize your perfect innocence and the perfection of all things. The more you do that, the more you will create for yourself a mindset, a state of being, so that when the body dissolves and you are in your infinite magnificence, fear will not contract you. You will simply say, "Oh well, what can I create now? I seem not to have a physical body anymore. How interesting. Where you choose to resist moving through your rings of fear, as you know they exist in your current life, you are building a prison for God's child, pure and simple. The world will tell you, do not trust the impulse of the heart. Not the impulse of the ego or the mind, but the impulse of the heart. Yet it is the heart that in the heart that the guidance of the Holy Spirit speaks. The doorway to greater God consciousness. Indeed, beloved friends, in the way of knowing, there is a certainty of knowing that it is the places in which fear seems to be cropping up that is the actual doorway to greater God consciousness. If there is something that you feel fearful of sharing with another, there is your doorway. Go and share your truth. For no other reason, not to persuade, not to be right, but just to do the sharing so that you get through the ring of fear. That is all. If you feel your heart constantly calling you to live penniless on the streets of London, and it has been calling to you for 30 years, go and sell all that you have and follow your heart. Now I know that the world has not taught you to live in such a way, but the world is the opposite of the truth of the kingdom, or the queendom. Love all. Become the one that serves all by loving first yourself. Learn to quiet the roar and din of the world, which is nothing more than your decision to place value on how the rest of the world is thinking. Two last pages. Serve only that voice of truth within yourself. That voice of truth within you is the voice that says, go start a garden today. First you think, oh yes. Then you realize, I don't know how to garden. How am I going to figure this out? But I really want to start a garden. Go start a garden. Some would say this is living from your authenticity. I do not speak of what is authentic as being what the mind thinks, that is its social image. That is not authentic at all. That is a mask, a persona. What is authentic is what you feel in the core and the depth of your being, in innocence. What do I mean by that? The innocent heart is not needy. It does not require selected individuals to agree with it. It does not wait until the universe nods its head in approval. It merely knows it is innocent and acts from it, and is not attached to the opinions of the world. Authenticity is the core through which Christ's mind grows. Anytime you look and see that you have not been living authentically, and decide to take a deep breath and let your illusions be shattered by becoming transparent, telling the truth and allowing whatever changes that need to occur, then indeed you are growing your Christ mind. In the way of knowing, you ask yourself constantly, where am I being inauthentic? Where am I just showing up the way that I think Ari down the street needs me to show up? Where am I being a vegetarian so that I can feel superior to those that are not? Where am I controlling my diet because I'm afraid that this substance will make me less spiritual? Where am I denying my humanity in order to present an image to another? Where am I getting up and going to the same job every day when I know in the depth of my being that I just do not want to be there anymore? To live authentically, in some sense, is to live alone. To live alone simply means that you no longer are run by needing to look a certain way, succeed in a certain way, so that the judgment of the world will not its head and give you a 10 instead of a 1. In the way of knowing, the mind comes to grasp the simple metaphysical truth that I, and I alone, am creating my tomorrows. Last page. If I create in authenticity now, I can rest assured that I will experience it tomorrow. If I create imprisonment for my soul now, I will experience it tomorrow. Because creation is eternal, it is impossible not to have a tomorrow, whether in this world or another. Beloved friends, you were created to create. You were created out of an overflow of joy and love. Therefore, live joyously. Live lovingly of yourself. Dare to consider that yourself is so important that you have an obligation never to settle for less than your own authenticity. Sometimes that requires beginning the process of discovering what is authentically yours and not merely the influence of others. Where are you still being inauthentic? Where are you responding with a smile when you are actually feeling anger? Where are you responding with an okay when inwardly the answer is no? Where are you responding in fear to the substance you would put in your body? For example, I can't eat that because that's a very bad substance, and I want to be healthy. It is the very fear that is creating a tomorrow of unhealthiness. Love heals all things. Love transmutes all things. Love embraces all things and thereby transcends all things. Where are you not allowing love to be your reality? Beloved friends, consider well the theme of this lesson. Do not be in a hurry to merely put this lesson aside. Read it a few times, and wherever you see a question instead of a statement, pause and spend some time considering it quietly, as though you were allowing the answer to emerge from your innocence. Then ask yourself, what changes can I make so that I am truly showing up in a more authentic way? For those of you that truly choose to, you will find that if you abide with the message of this lesson, engage the simple, quiet questions that are asked, and contemplate certain key thoughts that were repeated, much movement can occur, much liberation can occur. You are Christ, and you are free in the world of space and time to know it as deeply as possible. And with that, peace be unto you always. Amen. You are Christ, I comment. You are a divine child. You have all the energy that is divine to guide you. If we accept our true nature, we are that. Okay. It's so easy to focus more and more in all the negative things, parts inside of us and others, instead of focusing on the divine parts. And in what we put our attention inside of us or outside, that will grow. So it's so important to put our attention in the Christic parts inside of us, inside of others, that can attract very, very different things after. Thank you very much to have watched this video. I wish you very, very beautiful, joyful things in your life. And I will see you in the next video for the lesson 37. Okay, have a nice end of day where you are, in your country, in your village, in your city. Me, I am in Montreal, you know that, but it's a big, big village or planet. Bye-bye.